Hey car enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel today. We're going back to 1965, a year of change, innovation, and well, some pretty bad car enthusiast designs. We've got the 5 dumbest and worst cars of that year lined up for you. Some of them might make you cringe, while others might just leave you scratching your head, ready to be amazed. Let's get down to business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and become part of our community. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every time we post new content. Your subscription helps us grow and create more amazing videos for you. Number 5. The 1965 Chevrolet Corvair is often remembered for its innovative design and the controversy that surrounded its handling and safety. The Corvair, produced by General Motors, was distinct among American cars for its rear-engine, air-cooled design, which was more typical of European cars like the Volkswagen Beetle or Porsche 911. This setup provided the Corvair with a sleek, low-slung profile and balanced weight distribution, making it a unique offering in the US market. However, this innovative design came with significant drawbacks. The first-generation Corvair, 1960-1964, was equipped with a swing-axle rear suspension, which, when combined with the rear-engine layout, made the car prone to oversteer. This could cause the rear end to lose traction and the car to spin out, particularly in sharp turns or during emergency maneuvers. These handling issues were exacerbated by GM's decision to omit an anti-roll bar in an effort to cut costs, which could have mitigated some of these problems. The Corvair's handling issues were famously documented by consumer advocate Ralph Nader in his 1965 book, Unsafe at Any Speed. Nader criticized the Corvair for its safety flaws, specifically its tendency to roll over or spin out due to its unstable rear suspension design. His book not only brought national attention to the Corvair's defects, but also criticized the automotive industry at large for prioritizing style and cost savings over consumer safety. Nader's book led to a congressional investigation and was instrumental in the creation of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, and the Assage of the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act in 1966. In response to the criticism, GM redesigned the Corvair for the 1965 model year, introducing a fully independent rear suspension similar to that used in the Corvette. This new suspension greatly improved the Corvair's handling and stability, addressing many of the issues highlighted in Nader's book. Additionally, the 1965 Corvair featured a more powerful engine, improved styling, and other refinements that made it a much more competitive offering. Despite these improvements, the damage to the Corvair's reputation had already been done. The negative publicity, combined with the introduction of the more conventional and similarly priced Chevrolet Camaro in 1967, led to a sharp decline in Corvair sales. By 1969, GM ceased production of the Corvair altogether. The 1965 Corvair remains a controversial and significant vehicle in automotive history. It is often seen as a case study in the importance of vehicle safety and the impact of consumer advocacy. While the second-generation Corvair was a marked improvement over its predecessor, the lingering safety concerns and the public's eroded confidence in the model ultimately led to its demise. Number 4. The 1965 AMC Marlin was AMC's attempt to break into the fastback personal luxury market, which was popular at the time. However, it faced several significant issues that contributed to its poor reception and eventual failure. The Marlin's design was one of its biggest drawbacks. It was based on the mid-size Rambler Classic platform, which was not originally designed for a fastback. To create the Marlin, AMC extended the roofline and added a sloping rear, but the result was an awkward and heavy-looking design. The car had a large rear overhang, and its proportions seemed unbalanced. Many critics and consumers found the styling unattractive, especially when compared to sleeker and more stylish competitors like the Ford Mustang or Chevrolet Chevelle. The Marlin was marketed as a personal luxury car, but it lacked the power and performance that buyers expected from such a vehicle. The base engine was a 232 cubic inch 3.8L inline-six, which was underpowered for the car's size and weight. While there were optional V8 engines, they still didn't deliver the kind of performance that muscle car enthusiasts were looking for. The Marlin's handling was also criticized as being too soft and not sporty enough, which further detracted from its appeal. AMC positioned the Marlin in a niche market that was already highly competitive. It tried to appeal to buyers who wanted a blend of luxury and sportiness, but it didn't excel in either category. The car was too big to be a true sports car, and not luxurious enough to compete with established luxury brands. This left it in an awkward position, struggling to find a clear identity. Sales of the Marlin were disappointing, with only about 10,327 units sold in its first year. The car's poor sales were a reflection of its inability to connect with its target audience. The Marlin's failure highlighted AMC's struggles to compete with the larger automakers, and it is often remembered as a misstep in the company's history. In summary, the 1965 AMC Marlin is considered a bad car due to its awkward design, underwhelming performance, and unclear market positioning. These factors combined to make it an unattractive option for buyers at the time, leading to its eventual obscurity. Number 3. The 1965 Plymouth Barracuda, introduced as one of the earliest pony cars, aimed to compete with the Ford Mustang. Despite its potential, it fell short in several areas that left it overshadowed and ultimately less successful. One of the most distinctive features of the 1965 Barracuda was its large curved rear window, which dominated the car's design. While innovative, this design choice was polarizing. The rear window's size and shape created awkward proportions, giving the car an unusual profile that didn't appeal to everyone. The overall design lacked the cohesive, aggressive styling seen in its competitors, like the Mustang, which had a more universally appealing look. Although marketed as a sporty vehicle, the Barracuda's performance was underwhelming. The base models were equipped with modest engines that couldn't deliver the excitement and power that enthusiasts were beginning to expect from pony cars. Even with available V8 options, the Barracuda couldn't match the performance of other muscle cars that followed. This lack of compelling powertrains limited its appeal, particularly in a market segment that was increasingly performance-driven. The Barracuda faced stiff competition from the Ford Mustang, which had captured the public's imagination with its sleek design, customization options, and strong performance. When the Chevrolet Camaro and Pontiac Firebird entered the market, the Barracuda's position became even more precarious. These competitors offered better styling, performance, and overall value, making it difficult for the Barracuda to stand out. While the Barracuda laid some groundwork for Plymouth's future performance cars, the 1965 model didn't leave a lasting impact in the way its competitors did. Its odd styling and underwhelming performance made it less desirable both in its time and in the years that followed. As a result, the 1965 Barracuda is often remembered as a missed opportunity, a car that had the potential to be great but fell short due to its design choices and lack of performance. Number 2. The 1965 Dodge Dart was part of Dodge's compact car lineup, but despite being mechanically sound and relatively reliable, it fell short in several key areas that led to its reputation as a less desirable vehicle. Here's why it's considered bad in some respects. The 1965 Dart was designed during a time when automotive styling was shifting toward more modern, sleek designs. However, the Dart's boxy, conservative appearance didn't keep up with the trends. It lacked the aggressive lines and innovative styling that were becoming popular in other cars of the era, like the Ford Mustang or Chevrolet Corvair. While the Dart was reliable, it didn't offer much in terms of innovation. Dodge stuck to a more traditional approach with the Dart, focusing on basic transportation rather than trying to push the envelope with new technologies or design features. This made it seem less exciting compared to its competitors. The Dart was positioned in a highly competitive segment that included popular models like the Ford Falcon, Chevrolet Corvair, and Plymouth Valiant. These cars offered similar reliability but often had more attractive styling, better marketing, or were associated with more prestigious brands, leaving the Dart struggling to stand out. While the Dart offered a range of engines, including the Slant 6 and V8 options, it didn't have a performance model that could compete with the emerging muscle cars of the time. The Dart was seen as more of a practical choice, rather than a car that would excite enthusiasts. The interior of the 1965 Dart was functional but far from luxurious. The materials used and the overall design were quite basic, which didn't help its appeal. As other car makers started offering more comfort and features even in their compact cars, the Dart's Spartan interior made it seem outdated and less competitive. Dodge's marketing strategy didn't position the Dart as anything more than a basic, economical choice. This led to a perception of the Dart as a boring car, which didn't help sales in a market that was starting to value style and performance more highly. The 1965 Dodge Dart wasn't a terrible car in terms of quality or reliability, but it was overshadowed by more stylish and innovative competitors. Its conservative design, lack of standout features, and the absence of a strong performance model made it less appealing, resulting in its reputation as a forgettable and uninspired option in the compact car market of the 1960s. Number 1. The 1965 Mercury Comet was a compact car that struggled to make a strong impression in a rapidly changing automotive market. Here's why: it was often considered a bad or underwhelming vehicle. The 1965 Comet's design was conservative, lacking the bold, aggressive styling that was becoming popular during the mid-1960s. At a time when cars like the Ford Mustang and Plymouth Barracuda were capturing the public's imagination with their sporty looks, the Comet's boxy, plain design felt dated and uninspired. The Comet tried to appeal to a broad audience, but in doing so, it didn't stand out in any particular category, making it forgettable in the eyes of many consumers. The Comet was built on a platform shared with the Ford Falcon, which was designed for economy rather than performance. While the Comet offered a range of engines, including a V8, it lacked the high-performance variants that were making waves in the muscle car and pony car markets. The base models, with their inline-six engines, were particularly sluggish, offering little excitement to drivers who were increasingly looking for speed and power in their vehicles. Mercury as a brand was positioned between Ford and Lincoln, and the Comet was supposed to be an entry-level offering. However, it faced stiff competition from within Ford's own lineup, as well as from other manufacturers. The Ford Mustang, introduced in 1964, quickly became the go-to choice for those seeking an affordable, yet stylish and performance-oriented car, leaving the Comet overshadowed. The Plymouth Barracuda, introduced around the same time, also offered more excitement and appeal. By 1965, the automotive industry was seeing rapid advancements in technology and design. However, the Comet didn't offer anything particularly new or innovative. It was essentially a continuation of the previous models with only minor updates. This lack of innovation made it seem out of touch in an era when consumers were beginning to expect more from their vehicles. The Comet didn't sell particularly well compared to its competition. Consumers were increasingly drawn to more dynamic and exciting cars, and the Comet, with its modest offerings, failed to capture their attention. Its reputation as a bland, uninspired car stuck, and it never managed to achieve the kind of cultural impact that other cars from the same era did. The 1965 Mercury Comet was a product of its time, but it failed to keep up with the rapidly evolving market. Its bland styling, mediocre performance, and lack of innovation led it to be seen as an uninspired offering, making it one of the less memorable cars of the 1960s. While it wasn't necessarily a bad car in terms of reliability, it lacked the excitement and appeal that consumers were starting to demand, leading to its reputation as a forgettable model.